Tuesday, Ed Orgeron had his weekly visit on Off the Bench. In hour one, if you missed it, we did talk about his reaction and what the players and administration are doing amid the coronavirus positive tests. He also discussed what's happening on the field. And one of the things that we learned late last week is that the NCAA has extended the preseason for college football. And Ed Orgeron went through what the schedule will look like. This is 9 Moose. So what the schedule will look like for this new offseason.
We're going to start July 24th. I'm making the schedule right now. And we're going to practice 6 days a week, give them 1 day off. And it allows you to go all the way up to the day before camp. Our reporting day is the 6th for us. Camp starts on the 7th. But if we did that, it would give us 6 straight weeks of camp. I'm not going to do that. I want our guys fresh for camp, so I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to give them a couple of days off before camp and make sure we have a great camp. But it will help us, especially with the quarterbacks and the receivers, getting their timing right, getting the snap right, and it helps to have the ball.
One of the things that Ed has done exceptionally well, and obviously we know it's something that he's learned from Pete Carroll, as he's talked about a bunch, is how to structure practices. And that started from the day he took over midseason in 2016 when he implemented the Tell the Truth Monday, and Monday became a no pad, very quick, hour or less practice, efficient, sharp, get in, get out, do your work. Because LSU has done that so much, you heard him allude to the fact that they'll have those 2 weeks before the traditional start of camp. So July 24th, LSU will be on the field. August 7th is when camp starts. So from July 24th to August 7th is when they'll have those workouts mandated by the NCAA. They'll do 6 days a week, an hour a day with no pads, but they can use a ball, so it'll work on timing and a lot of those things. I think because of the way LSU structures its practices during the season, this is going to be even more beneficial for a program like LSU. Orgeron was asked, guys asked, is that enough time, though, to get ready for the season?
See, this is where people go wrong. Summer conditioning gets you in shape for camp. Camp gets you in shape for football. The only way to get in football shape is to play football, and that's it. And so the conditioning done in June and July allows us to have a great camp, and the physicality in camp in August allows us to have a great season.
And that hasn't changed. The camp start date is going to be the same, but what the NCAA essentially is doing is saying, because you missed spring, we're going to give you 2 additional weeks of very light, 6 hours a week on-field work, no pads or anything, but to kind of get you back into football mindset and doing football things. So Ed basically alluded to the fact that, look, we're working out now to be ready for camp. Camp will get us ready for the season. Once they actually hit the field, we know they will be without Eric Monroe. Ed Orgeron talked about the decision that the senior safety made to leave the program.
Eric's close to me as any player. He had a conversation with me and Coach Bush. We had a Zoom meeting. He graduated from here. He felt that, that it would be best for him. He did everything that he could here. It would be best for him to go somewhere else that he could probably start this year. And not to say that he wouldn't start here, but I guess he feels like he got an opportunity somewhere else. Eric gave everything we could over here. The outstanding young man, A+. Man, I can't say enough good things about Eric Monroe.
It was really interesting hearing Ed there talk about how Eric Monroe might have started at LSU. I kind of believe him. It's not to say that he would have stepped in and been a starter, because Mo Hampton took a lot of those reps last year. You've got Jacoby Stevens back, Todd Harris coming back off of injury. But, hey, man, 2 years ago, we all assumed Garrett Brumfield was going to slide over from guard and be the starting center. And Lloyd Cushenberry beat him out and won the job. We've seen circumstances like that before, where we make assumptions about certain players, and then other guys in camp and in practice win jobs. Ed Orgeron has left that last year, a guy we weren't talking about much, and then Ed kept mentioning him. Every single media availability was Glenn Logan. And Glenn Logan ended up starting week 1 for LSU. So I wouldn't have put it completely out of the realm of possibility for Eric Monroe to be a starter for LSU this season if Ed said that opportunity would have been there. Now, he would have had an uphill climb, but the possibility would have been there. But Eric Monroe's transferring, like we talked about yesterday, probably the right decision. Eric Monroe out. Liam Shanahan is in. That's the guard, or the offensive lineman, I should say, from Harvard. Ed talked about Jabril Cox. He's got a ton of the fanfare. Liam Shanahan is the other grad transfer who has been a bit understated. And in part, the conversation about Liam Shanahan has been kind of understated. When Ed Orgeron was on off the bench and he was running through the position groups, when he mentioned offensive line, he was mentioning Liam Shanahan as a third teamer. Back on May the 12th, I want you to listen to the tone, okay? Not so much what he's saying, but the tone. This is what Ed said on May the 12th, a little more than a month ago, about Liam Shanahan.
First of all, he could play center, guard, and tackle. That was very important for us. Obviously, very intelligent, can learn all three. Who knows? He may come in and start, but we brought him in so at least that we can have some backup position. We have some young freshmen coming in, but we're unstable at some spots as far as depth. So for sure, he can bring some depth to us.
He can bring some depth. That doesn't sound like someone they're counting on to be a major impact guy. He could play some positions, but really we think he can bring some depth. Listen to Ed today talking about Liam Shanahan. Again, May 12th, he can bring some depth. Listen to what Ed said about him today.
I got to give James Craig the credit, man. He come show me a film one day. He said, Coach, you got to watch these kids. And I said, James, are you sure? And I looked at him. I thought he was pretty good, but as the competition is not the SEC up there. And but you know what? He's been snapping. He's been playing right guard, right tackle. The guys say it's tremendous. They love him. They love him in the weight room. Very mature. It's exactly what we needed for the room right now. So I'm telling you what, now I'm feeling really confident that this guy can help us next year.
It's not just me, right? I mean, you heard a difference in Ed Orgeron's tone talking about that guy from a month ago and then today. From saying, we don't really know, we think he can provide some depth, to, I got to tell you something. We think this kid can play, can help us. I mean, that's clearly someone to watch, especially because you got two spots open on your line. You need a starting center and you need a guard. Your center, right guard are available. We're all assuming, obviously, that we know Deculus is going to be your right tackle. We know that Ed Ingram's going to be your left guard. And pretty certain, obviously, that you're set at left tackle as well with Dale Rosenthal. So you need center, right guard. And we've heard a lot of conversation. I mean, maybe Jason Hines. Obviously, they're high on Bradford, the kid from Michigan who's come in. There have been some guys who have switched positions. But it certainly seemed like from Ed saying there, man, a guy who could play three positions, they're confident he's going to factor in some way. Couple of other things from Ed Orgeron, including rushing the passer. It's not uncommon for coaches to build up guys and we think they're going to be great players. We've heard Ed Orgeron say this about a guy like Miles Brennan. Say, I think Miles is going to be a championship quarterback for us. Okay, it's high praise, but it's not putting a direct label. It's not saying, I think Miles Brennan will win a Heisman Trophy before he leaves, or Miles Brennan's going to win a national championship before he leaves. Saying he's going to be a championship quarterback is strong enough to be confident, but vague enough to not put too much pressure on the kid. Listen to what Ed said today about B.J. Ujulari.
We got two great young men, B.J. Ujulari and Philip Webb. And, B.J. was with us in the spring. I do believe he's going to be an All-American here. I think this guy here is a tremendous football player. He has a chance to be a high pick. Philip Webb, I haven't seen him yet. Obviously, they've been about their workouts, talking to Tommy Moffitt. He thinks that the guy is very, very talented. So we think that those guys on the right side could rush the passer for us. Justin Thomas, who we didn't have last year. Justin's down to 285 now. We think that he can add a tremendous pass rush to us. Andre Anthony, Ali Gates, T.K. McClendon. But we got a lot of guys. I'm looking at the defensive line board. It looks like we got 25. We better find more.
It's no doubt they've got depth on the defensive line, right? I mean, you heard Ed say there, if it looks like we got 25 guys. I mean, they've got numbers. Not surprising that the defensive line coach by trade, who's the head coach, is going to fortify the defensive line. That's no surprise at all. Saying point blank, I think B.J. Ojulari is going to be an All-American here is bold. And Ed never shies away from that. I mean, he's a guy that is known for his candor and gives honest opinions and assessments, and it's why it's more striking. But one of the questions I've had, the biggest question I've had this offseason about the defense, it was linebacker. They've answered that question. They went on and got Jabril Cox, you've got Damone Clark, and they've got other guys as well with Baskerville, and they've moved guys, if it's obviously with Ray Thornton moving positions inside as well. They've got bodies there. It's not even really a question anymore because they've got numbers, and it's just, and you've got two studs that can be 100 tackle guys. You know that. Really, the only question moving into a 4-3 is who's going to rush the passer, because your 3-4 outside linebackers are now playing linebacker, and you don't really have 3-4 tackles that can play 4-3 end. So somebody who hasn't done it before is going to have to be that guy, and apparently it's going to be B.J. Ojulari. And if he's a guy that lives up to the billing the way Orgeron's selling him as being an All-American, then you check that box and all of a sudden you've got another dominant defense at LSU. Circle that one, man. Circle that soundbite, because that is significant to hear Ed Orgeron talk about a defensive end saying, I think he's going to be an All-American at LSU. And if anybody would know how defensive line play would play out, it would be Ed. All right, it's after further review. If you want to catch the whole interview, Ed Orgeron on Off the Bench earlier today, 1045ESPN.com on demand off the bench. You'll see it right there. And on the Off the Bench YouTube channel, you can check it out as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.